Tech now with the Chiefs. And Pat Mahomes, Patrick's father, joins us, former longtime veteran Major League pitcher with us on 365 Sports with Craig Smoke, Paul Catalina, and David Smoke. How proud of a papa were you watching him gut through that last night?
Oh, man, it was pretty special, knowing, what he had went through all week to get there and trying to prepare himself to go out there and play a game, and to see him go out there and play it and do it successfully was a great deal.
As a parent, when he is hurt, I know you already watched the game, white knuckling the whole time anyway, but is that one, is your heart in your throat from the time the game kicks off?
Well, not so much with the ankle. I mean, I was just hoping that nobody else landed on it. I thought he'd be able to gut through it and get through it. It's a lot different than, say, a concussion and some of the other stuff that could take him out. So I wasn't that worried about it so much. I knew he could move well enough where he could protect himself. So that gave me some sense of security.
Pat, just how crazy is it? I mean, I know he's already been there, done that in terms of the Super Bowl, and God willing, there'll be many more to come. But just, do you get a moment like during yesterday to kind of sit and pause and just sort of reflect? I mean, what's it like being a father of a son who's experienced this level of success?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, we've been through so much in just 5 years. This is his third Super Bowl. Winning some MVP and playing in a lot of big games. So it's kind of crazy to think that we've gotten here this fast. With him. And I just like to sit back like the rest of us, I think, and just kind of sit back and watch him and just try to see what he's going to do next.
Besides everything that he has, the talent, the drive, and all that, what separates him, Pat, from maybe others?
I think it's his brain, man. He recognizes and processes information so quick. He sees a certain coverage one time and he never forgets it. He knows what to do next time that he sees it. So I think that's the thing that's most, overlooked about him is how smart that he studies the game and prepares himself for the game, so that when he gets into the game and he gets into those situations, he's very easy to dissect it and get on with the play.
Does he? Would you call his memory photographic? Is he like that?
I think they say it's eidetic.
Okay.
Whatever that means. So I know that he sees something one time, and like if he reads a book or something, he could tell you. You could ask him something about the book, and he could tell you what chapter it is, what paragraph that is, and exactly where it is in the book. So I mean, that definitely helps him out there on the football field.
Man, that's superhuman. Pat, when he was coming out of Tech, he obviously was a productive quarterback. They didn't have a lot of success. He put up huge numbers, but kind of go back over draft day, the discussions leading up to the NFL draft. Trubisky was picked very early. We know it did not work out well for him, and there were others in front of him. But what was going on that moment when Kansas City decided to move up to pick him? Do you remember much about that?
Oh, yeah, I remember. He had told me that, Kansas City was going to try to move up to take him. They didn't know how far they had to go up. But deep in his mind, I think he thought Chicago was going to take him, and he knew for sure that Arizona at 13 would take him if he got to that far. What he didn't know is that Sean Payton wanted him there in New Orleans, when they were picking 11. So, he had some good options, but he knew Kansas City really liked him, and it was a good situation for him. And be with Andy Reid and all those weapons they got over there, that ended up being the ideal spot for him, and I'm glad they got it.
They also kind of, with Alex Smith, they were able to allow him to kind of just understand and marinate a little bit. How critical do you think that ended up being?
Oh, Alex was a lifesaver. I mean, everything that Patrick has done, Alex has a little bit of taste in it, man. I've been in those clubhouses. I've been in the locker rooms when you try to talk to a veteran guy and they won't give you any information because they think you're going to take their spot. And for Alex to, open it all up and show him how to be a professional, teach him the ins and outs, and keep him with him, day by day, and tutor him and just kind of mentoring him. I mean, I was gets unbelievable amount of credit, and I'm just glad that Patrick soaked it up, and he was like a sponge, and soaked it up and used it.
Has he ever been in a game, even in any sport when he's a kid, and not looked like he's having fun? Because to me, he looks like he's having a blast, even when things aren't going that well.
I always say I don't think the moment gets too big for him. Man, he's seen a lot at a young age. Being able to go with me and see me playing World Series games and see 60,000 fans and all those people out there yelling and stuff. I just think he's seen it all. So nothing really phases him. I mean, he just goes out and plays the game, and he plays hard. And we got our motto. Players make plays. So he's going to go out there and try to make a play. And fortunately enough, he's made quite a few of them. And so he happens to be in the position that he is now.
How much did not playing in the Super Bowl last year fuel him? Obviously, it fueled the team, but did he say much to you about that?
Yeah, he was heartbroken, man. I mean, sometimes you take it, you take for granted. Everything has came pretty easy for him. He's had a lot of success and all that, but I think last year was kind of an eye-opener, with him losing that game, especially with them being up as far as they were, in that game, and then end up losing that game. And then everything. So it fueled him. I knew that once they started talking and trash talking and kept mentioning that he had never beat this guy and all that stuff, I knew he was going to be ready to go. And I was just, eager. I couldn't wait for yesterday to see it because I knew what he was going to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that Burrowhead stuff didn't go over very well, I don't think, did it?
No, I don't think it went over too well. But I also know this kid. I taught him to be the opposite of what I was, so I knew he wasn't going to snap back. I had to kind of do a little something myself. But I mean, I knew he was going to be ready to go, and I just couldn't wait to see it.
What do you mean, Pat? I mean, I've only known you since you were in high school. I mean, you were a fiery competitor. Is that the best way to put it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, trash talk is my game, So, that's the way we grew up. You talk a little trash here and there. And, like I said, I know he wasn't going to do it. I even was trying to, tell him, hey, you need to say something, But, I know that ain't his style. That ain't what he does. So it was just good to see him go out there and play, man, and have a good game.
Oh, he's got Travis Kelce out there that can take it care of. Like all the other 10 guys don't have to say a word based on what you see from Travis. So
that's my boy Killer Trav now. He always speak his mind. So he's got a little bit of Patrick's daddy in it. He's gonna talk for everybody. So you got to have guys like that. He had his Jake Parker in high school, and now he's got Travis and some of the other guys. But that's just what they do.
Can you explain just the chemistry that those two have, Pat? I mean, I know that in sports there's always the chemistry that guys you just seem to play off of each other better than others. But what is it about that combination of Mahomes and Kelce that's just so special?
Man, it's crazy. It's like they have a sixth sense or something. A lot of the routes that Kelce runs are not the routes that he's supposed to run, and it's crazy because he breaks off script and he does different things, and some reason Patrick seems to know what he's doing. So I mean, it's been that way, from the beginning. I remember the first game Patrick started. Not the game against them, but the first time he started as a starter. The first game in L.A., Kelce, I think he caught maybe 3 balls, had like 20 yards, and he came out of the locker room, and he was, you could tell we had won the game, but you could tell he wasn't happy, And I remember pulling him to the side, and I go, "Hey man, I'm gonna tell you something about my child." I said he's gonna throw the ball to whoever's open. They were double teaming you, so you weren't open. So he threw the ball to Tyreek. And then the next game, Kelce caught 2 or 3 touchdowns against Pittsburgh, and he came right out to me. He's like, "Pops, you're right." So they've developed a hell of a bond on and off the field. So they just seem to know what each other's thinking and what they're going to do, and it just works.
Pat, how much has the success he's had in Kansas City, which is, 3 Super Bowls in 4 years and on the cusp a year ago? You know, at White House, they weren't very good. They were okay. They were an average, a little bit above average team, playoff team. And then at Texas Tech, we know that they struggled. Cliff, the head coach, and his last year they were 5-7 despite massive numbers his 2 years at junior and senior. How much does being able to taste winning become contagious for him? Because he really didn't have a lot of that in high school and college.
Well, I mean, he had a little bit in, like I said, a little bit in high school. College, you know, he put up crazy numbers, but, you know, defense was never that good, and he didn't get the win. And the thing about college is he always wanted to get them a Big 12 championship. And then I think after he realized that that wasn't going to be a possibility, that's when he kind of started shifting more toward the pro game and to be able to go to a team that was already winning and then add an extra piece and keep adding and getting better and better. You know, it starts to get contagious. I mean, he was always a guy that, you know, he was going to make those plays and do what he had to do because, you know, when he was at Tech, you know, you had to score every possession just to have a chance to win the game. So that's something that he's always done. So now that he's getting some wins behind it, I mean, it's got to be very gratifying for him.
You mentioned being a son of a major leaguer or a pro, no matter what sport, could be hockey, whatever. How much really, and the young men, the kids, whoever, the children get to hang around the clubhouse and be a part of it? I don't know if it's as much that way now, but how much does that maybe soak into somebody's blood?
Oh, man, I think for him it was, you know, incredible and unbelievable because him getting to be around those guys, seeing, you know, some of the best at their position do what they had to do every day to get prepared, get ready to play the game. And they were already on top of their position, but to see how hard they worked, I mean, just showed him a work ethic and everything that he had never seen before. And he realized how hard you have to work to get there, not only to get there, but to stay there. So I think that really helped him out a lot.
Pat Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, his father, of course, Kansas City, Philadelphia, in the Super Bowl. I got to ask you if you remember this. Port Charlotte, Florida, Rangers training camp. We once were playing a round of golf. My good friend Eric Horton was with us as well. Do you remember one time we were standing on the tee box and there was an alligator about 20 feet from behind us and we didn't even see it?
Yes, I do remember that, yes.
And here's the worst part. You would have been fine because you were an athlete. And I would have probably been the one that would have been the appetizer for the alligator. I'll never forget that, even for all these years later, that particular moment, and your body just freezes. Hey, man, congratulations.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I wouldn't have let you down, though, baby. I'd have stayed that way.
That is a true friend right there. Hey, Pat, thank you very much. Kind of reminiscing a little bit. Also, good luck. Enjoy Arizona. I know you will, and hopefully Patrick and the ankle. We had Bobby Stroop on earlier, and, of course, he's talked about that relationship as well. We appreciate your time, and have a great day.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Bobby, man. He kept me informed all week, and he did a hell of a job with him again. I've had him winning since Patrick was in 4th grade, and that guy does some things, man. For him to be able to come back from the injuries and stuff that he has so quickly, a lot of that goes to Bobby Stroop. That's
a great compliment. Pat Mahomes, longtime Major League pitcher, great friend, and, of course, Patrick's father with us on 365 Sports.